Hi everybody, I am Ryan, and I decided, as you can see, to do my speech on Mr. Walter Eliza Disney, also known as Walt Disney. We all have those fond memories of childhood and our favorite story, our favorite movies, our favorite books, cartoons, trips to Disney World. I am one of those people. I actually pretty much consider Daytona Beach, Florida home. I lived there for 8 years, and I did a lot of traveling around and going to Disney. I've been to every single park, I believe, that Disney World has, and Pocahontas was my favorite movie as a child. I had Pocahontas bed sheets and a birthday cake and probably anything else you could think of. I had an Aladdin beach towel, so that's besides the point. I wanted to talk about Disney because he's all been in our lives at some point in time, I think. If he hasn't, I can't seem to say that you would be American. But I wanted to give a little bit of backstory on Walt Disney. He was actually born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5th, 1901. He's one of 5 children. There were 4 boys and 1 girl. He actually started drawing and taking photography classes in high school. He was the cartoonist for his high school newspaper. At the age 16, he decided that he was going to drop out of school. This is during the Great Depression, and he wanted to join the Army. The Army actually would not take him, so he decided that he was going to join the Red Cross. The Red Cross sent him to France for a whole entire year, and he drove an ambulance. After he returned from France in 1919, he moved to Kansas. Him and his brother Roy actually decided that they were going to excuse me, start their own company and kind of make up little snippets of cartoons and put them in commercials and things like that. There was actually his first cartoon that he ever made money off of was called Alice in Cartoon Land, and also The Lucky Rabbit. Each one of those contracted shorts made $1,500 a piece. Back then, I'm sure that was so much money. In 1925, Walt actually hired an ink and paint artist. Her name was Lillian Bound. They had a very, very, very short courtship, about 6 months, and later the couple married. I thought that was so sweet. Further into the Depression in 1937, Walt and his brother moved their company. They moved to the Hollywood Hills and decided that they were going to open up a business. They actually premiered Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs during the Great Depression, and it actually brought in a whopping $1.49 million. And it actually won them 8 Oscar awards for that one movie. After that, several different ideas came to them, and they didn't have the money to produce what they wanted to, so they did the short films, they did the short clips. But soon after that, they did Pinocchio, which is very popular, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi. Then in the 50s, they created Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, and 101 Dalmatians. Overall, Walt has produced more than 100 productions. Later in life, I'm going to say in the early 60s, he had a dream. He wanted to build a park where children and their families could have fun together. His initial dream for the park was going to be 8 acres. He wanted to have somewhere where he could have water features and rides and characters and all these different things all in one place. Except he couldn't convince one person or a group of people to actually give him the money that it was going to cost to build this park. So what did Walt do? He got creative. He decided that he was going to make commercials and announce to the public that he was actually going to build this for them, a place that they could go and take their kids and have fun and escape and have dreams and just be creative. It actually worked out for him. He got the backing to build his dream pretty much. It actually cost him 17, well, not him, obviously, all these other people put it in, and it cost them $17 million. I think that's insane. It was 160 acres. They cut down citrus trees, and they actually had 15 houses moved to make room for the park. On opening day, they had 6,000 tickets that they had mailed for invitations out to people. And around noon, they counted 28,000 people were walking around the new theme park. Most of those 28,000 tickets were counterfeit. Imagine that. Opening day was actually pretty horrible. They had literally just laid asphalt down the night before, so it was still steaming because it was still hot, and the women were actually tripping over their high heel shoes. It was a 15th day of the heat wave, so temperatures rose in California up to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Due to plumbers, there were a few water fountains that were operating in the hot water, and I mean, I can imagine only expecting 6,000 people and 28,000 people show up, that they didn't have enough food. They couldn't have had enough, to accommodate all of these people. But besides the terrible day of the opening day, the park eventually did pick up, and 10 years after opening day, 50 million visitors had gone through the gates. It's astronomical. There's so many people. After Disneyland, Walt had another vision, and he wanted to go to the East Coast. Since he was on the West Coast in California, he wanted to go to the East Coast and do the same thing for the people that lived on the East Coast that couldn't get to California, couldn't afford to drive, could not afford to fly, and he wanted to open up Disney World. But unfortunately, in 1966, Walt was diagnosed with lung cancer. And on December 15th, of 1966, he lost his battle to lung cancer. He was 65 years old, and I can't imagine accomplishing all the things that you wanted to accomplish and having one more thing that you wanted to accomplish but you couldn't. But his brother Roy, who had stuck by him through the Depression and all of the things that they had gone through with trying to build their company and build their characters, he carried on Walt's dream, and he actually opened a theme park in Florida, Walt Disney World, in 1977 in honor of Walt Disney. And today we have people that have taken over and created other art forms, other movies, and great things that we all get to visualize. And I thought he would be a great person to honor and put into tribute for his life and all of the things that he has done. And I hope that Walt Disney is in your life and can bring very fond, happy memories to you as well.